Hi everyone. Thanks for stopping back in. It's Judy Art, or Jessica, as you are more than welcome to call me. So it's day 2 of Inktober and the prompt is SCURRY. Okay, so my big issue with prompt challenges are the ones that are a little vague. I kind of went into this idea with, okay, SCURRY. The first thing that came to mind was like a mouse. I'm not big on drawing animals. I didn't want to draw a mouse. I'm not a fan of mice or rats or rodents in general. If the prompt was raccoon, I probably wouldn't participate. I'm not a big fan of rodents. But so I'm thinking in the theme of things being a little spooky, a little creepy, why not have someone, running away? So I said, we'll have someone kind of young, kind of looking, making them seem afraid without putting fear on their face necessarily. So the focus would be on the running, not necessarily on, their emotions. So for SCURRY, I decided to go with someone running away from maybe a monster. The funny thing about, these prompts is kind of like you only get to see one side of what's going on. So if something is chasing her for this, illustration, we are not going to know what it is. I'm not coming up with stories. I'm just making illustrations that I could probably use for something in the future. But for now, it's just someone running away. So I'm using the same general process as I did for day 1, starting with red color erase sketching, keeping it, kind of light, making sure I get, big shapes and start to fill in the details, erase it down a little bit, and then I go back over it with a colored pencil. I don't know why I forgot that word. I go back over it with a colored pencil, and I focus on not just the details, but kind of give myself an idea of where I want the shadows to be. Shadows and kind of highlights. I leave those areas really bright while I give a little bit of, shading to the parts of the illustration that, aren't getting a lot of light. So I'm using this 2-part pencil sharpener, and I just remember when I first got it, I didn't understand that it was 2 parts. So I just used the one part that I figured was for sharpening it, and it just gave it this really weird, like the top of a mushroom kind of on top of the pencil. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do with this. So I kind of shaved it down. Upon further review, it's 2 parts. So you use the main sharpening hole first, and then you use the second one, and that kind of straightens. It's to make it really long. I didn't know that. There were no instructions. Anyways, I'm just showing here kind of my process of kind of diluting the ink for the washes. So I think I did like, I don't know, like 1 or 2 drop to a few like milliliters of water using the, I think they're called eyedroppers. Just using the dropper to make it not as pigmented, to make it more gray. That way I can start, like I did with day 1, where the first layer is going to be really light, and then we'll just build up on colors from there. So the inking process for this piece kind of got away from me a little bit. Like I said, I wanted to ensure that I put, the darker areas kind of in the right places to, make it seem as if there is a light source and parts of the illustration would be outside of it. Well, sometimes I get into the artwork that I forget about the objectives. And like I said, I was supposed to use the colored pencil to kind of give me a game plan of where the most shaded areas would go. So here I'm going in with the second wash, which is diluted, so it's not going to dry as dark as it kind of looks right now, but it is darker than the first wash to give it more, just a little bit more, dimension. Since it's day 2, I want to give a little follow up to day 1 and kind of how it went overall. I think I do a really great job of getting too deep into my head about things that, not that they don't matter, but maybe they're just not as big of a deal as, I'm kind of making them up to be in my own mind. I gave myself a really false sense of accomplishment for September by, feeling prepared in a sense, but not actually being prepared. So when the day started, I felt kind of overwhelmed. I'm playing this game of which platform is going to be most welcoming of my art during the season. And, I've been struggling with TikTok for some reason. It's just not, the numbers they're not doing what they usually do. And not that that's the most important thing in the world, but it's a sense of feeling valuable as an artist, for people to care about what you're doing, for people to, for you to feel support, and have people in your corner supporting you. So losing that, not in the sense of, my followers, subscribers, supporters turning their back on me. No, everybody's still very supportive, but it's an algorithm issue. I vented about this to myself in my car on the way home from the library yesterday, that big creators have a platform where their influence, it has far reach, and sometimes the bigger the platform, kind of the more ridiculous the focus. And it's not like, big creators don't share small content. They do, but sometimes it's just to be negative. And in a perfect world, the most famous people would be the people who work really hard, the people who are, creative, the people who use their voice to create change. And sometimes that's just not the case, and I can't do much to change that, but it affected me for day one more than I thought it would. So I kind of had to give myself a stern talking to get myself back on track, to get, encouraged again so that I can go through with this month, because it's such a great season for artists. And just in the same breath, in Instagram, everybody's putting their Inktober posts up or whatever prompt they're following. And it's great to see people's work, how hard people are working during the season, the fun concepts that they're coming up with for the prompts, and, everything. And a lot of the people, especially on Instagram, a lot of the people that I follow, I've been following since Inktober season 2020. So it's so cool to see how much they've grown, how much they've changed, and just, that we're all still moving in a good direction. It's great to see that. And I think that's what this season is about more than anything in the world, is for us to be drawn back into the community and to really put our support behind each other, to really be encouraging, to be inspired, to share in the fun of it all, to be spooky, to learn how to use different, mediums, to explore, the depths of our creativity, have great ideas, share them with each other. And if you can encourage someone, that's the only thing I ask. I suggest that you be encouraging. And if you feel like you're so new to art that maybe you don't have, much expertise or much credibility, well, sometimes that doesn't matter. It's just about where you stand in being an artist who will support other artists. It's important. And I hope that, a lot of big creators will kind of do the same. Don't forget about the little guy this season. If you see someone posting for Inktober, a like goes a long way. Comments definitely go a long way. Share their work, send some of your support their way. It would be really helpful. I want to definitely see these kind of events continue to, stick around. So it's up to us as artists to be rooting for each other more than anything else. Sorry to get so serious. But I just want to be honest. My sister, I had a bad day, and, I was like, I'm moping for the rest of the day. And my sister went and got us some hair dye, and we stayed up and had she called it a dyeing party. I thought she meant, well, I'm not going to tell you what I thought she meant, but she meant hair dye, like hair dyeing party. So now my hair is purple. It is purple. I think I'm going to do something like a vlog for this month, so I'll show you there. But I think we have reached pretty much the end of this illustration. There's a lot of detail going on here. I wanted to give her braids or locks, so a lot in there. She's wearing jeans, she's running, she's amazing. Thanks so much for stopping by. I really appreciate you guys. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, share with a friend, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.